y'all, Cara Crittenton here, aka Miss Success, and today I wanted to talk to you about being a good listener. You know, in my group, the prosperity team, we always have every day we have a noon training webinar, and we discuss different issues, and we get our daily assignment, you know, for what we're going to create our blogs about, and also if we talk about new products and new techniques and just different things that we need to be successful in our home-based businesses. But the topic for today was how to be a good listener. And so, you know, this is really one of my kind of favorite topics because I'm a person that really likes to talk. I like to talk. I like to, I'm considered a good listener, but that's because I genuinely care about people, and I really care about, you know, what people have to say and what they think about what makes them tick in some ways. But you know, I really do care about what people have to say. But I noticed that, you know, when I was a lot younger, I used to just talk a mile a minute. Like, I talk a lot now, but I really used to talk. I used to talk so much that I would give myself a headache. And one day it dawned on me, wow, I'm talking so much I'm getting on my own nerves, so I must be getting on other people's nerves. And unfortunately, you know, most people say, no, you really aren't getting on my nerves. But, you know, that brings me to my point, which is being a good listener. Now, a lot of people say, you're such a good listener, and, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, a psychiatrist or therapist or something like that, because people do come to me, you know, with their questions and problems and concerns and things like that, or just to have somebody, you know, just a listening ear. And so what are the qualities of a good listener? Well, one of the things that has kind of become, I guess, kind of a recent, how can I put this, a recent phrase for being a good listener is called active listening. And active listening is when you're really paying attention to what people are saying. Now, most of us tend to listen to people. I wouldn't even say we listen to them. We just kind of hear the words. We hear, you know, something going in, and then it goes out. What's the expression? It goes in one ear, and comes out the other, right? So that is when you're not really listening. Most of the time we're just waiting for our chance to jump in, and so we're listening, but we're just kind of like, we're not even really processing what the other person is saying. We're just waiting for our chance to jump in to say something, you know, add our 2 cents, as it were. So I'm just going to give you some quick notes on what I wrote down, and a couple of things that I actually came across, you know, in just researching this topic today about what it means to be a good listener, you know, what an active listener is, and how you can become a better listener so that people will come to you and they will talk to you. And not only will that help you to gain better understanding and insight into people, it help you in your relationships, in your personal relationship, in your business relationships, your work relationships, your relationships with your kids. You know, I'm very fortunate my kids come and talk to me about pretty much everything, kind of some stuff that I'm like, really, I don't want to hear that. But I used to do the same thing with my mom. It's like, yes, my mom was a good listener too. Well, she is a good listener. So let me just quickly tell you this acronym that I got today for listen. So L is for look. Look at the person and let them know that you are really interested in what they have to say. You know, try to make eye contact with people when you're talking to them. This is something that I teach my children too, is to look people in the eye when they're talking to you. You know, I notice a lot of people, especially, you know, younger kids nowadays, are not necessarily taught how to look people in the eye. They're looking here and there and all around. Okay. And then I, inquire, ask questions. You know, well, what is it about this particular topic, or how do you do such and such a thing, or where did you come up with that information? You know, ask those types of questions. Again, that's letting the person know that you're actually interested in what they're saying, and not only that, but it keeps you in that conscious flow as opposed to kind of zoning off when someone else is talking. Okay, summarize. Repeat back to the person what it is they said. Give them feedback. Okay, so if they're telling you about their brand new car, I bought this blue car, and they said I bought this blue Mercedes, and it's got all the bells and whistles and whatever. Try to pick out key phrases. Oh, really, blue? So is it the light blue? Is it the dark blue? Just kind of summarize what they said, repeat back to them what they said, because that way they're going to know that you really are listening. And again, it's going to keep your mind open so you are really engaged in the conversation. Okay, and then the next thing is T. Take notes. Whether you write notes down when someone is speaking, or whether you are mentally taking notes about what the person said. And again, that's because later on, when it is your turn to talk, you're going to want to summarize the conversation. That way you make sure you're on the same page, and that makes it so that lack of communication doesn't happen quite as frequently. And then E, encourage more speech. Again, ask more questions. Even if you're not asking questions, just nod your head and go, oh, okay. Give them a smile. Give them one of these, like, okay, so that they know you really do. You're encouraging them to talk and to continue to share more about whatever the topic is. And then N, neutralize your feelings. Take the emotion out of it, especially if it's a relationship issue or a work issue or something where things can get a little heated. Take the emotion out of it. Neutralize your feelings and just look at what the person is saying. Listen to what they're saying. Listen objectively. Pretend you're almost a third party in the conversation. If you had two friends that were kind of having an issue, maybe you were just kind of the observer, and you were going to report back to both of them, hey, this is what I observed. And that way, when it is your turn to talk, you will be able to say, okay, I think this is what you're saying, especially again if we're talking about relationships. People want to be heard. They want to feel like they are heard. They want to feel like people care about what they have to say, because you know what, at the end of the day, what everyone has to say is important. See, what I have to say and what the President of the United States has to say, or the head of whatever huge corporation in the world has to say, is all equally important. Our conversation is no more important than the person who may be, a caregiver for your children or whatever. Everybody's conversation, everybody's opinion, everybody's voice is important. And so when you become a good listener, you're going to find out that people will come to you, they will value your opinion, and as a result of those things, not only are you going to gain more credibility just with your friends and your family and your significant other, but you also, if you're in business, you will definitely gain credibility that way, because people love to know that they have someone that they're talking to in business that is a trusted advisor, and that they can come to and that they can talk to, and that person is really listening and they care. So I know this was a little bit long today, but I really thought it was important. Like I said, it's one of my little kind of pet things that I like. I love to engage in good conversation, and I really, really love being a listener. So I encourage you today to really listen, be an active listener, and instead of just waiting for your chance to jump in and speak, I encourage you to pay attention to what the other person has to say and pretend that their opinion is 10 times more important than yours, because it is. Alright, so I will talk to you again soon. You guys have a great day. Cara, Revels, Crittenton. Bye!